Well, hello there, football friends. So tonight, delighted to be joined by Conor Corvin and John Hogg, the respective managers of Cleary Celtic and Sandy Hill. So in advance of the pending MidUlster Shield final, we're going to get to find out who these two gentlemen are. We're going to get a chat to speak to the gaffers, and then we'll have a rundown of their journey to the cup final.
Keepie Uppies with Richie and Tots.
So, guys, welcome. Delighted to have you on board.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah, so rush down the road, 7 o'clock, press play, we'll get our dinner afterwards. So Tots is in the background there, he's ready to spin the Wheel of Berba when the time arrives. But let me get to know you guys first. So just a bit of a backstory. Conor, we'll start with you first. Just interesting Sandy Hill, a relatively new club, established in 2009.
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like a long time now, but yeah, I suppose it's relatively recent compared to most other teams. But yeah, we started in 2009. It's basically a group of mates leaving school. We're all 18, 19, and decided to set up a football club. So some people said we were mad, but we're all keen in that. So didn't take too long before we started moving up the leagues and whatever else. So yeah, relatively new club. Yeah.
Fantastic. And yourself, is that where the footballing career really started, kicked off? Again, youth football prior to that?
No, to be honest, didn't really play any youth football. Would have been involved in youth GAA, but not really so much in the soccer, to be honest. But yeah, just sort of set up. It was probably a bit of crack at the start, but got more serious over the years. I played for the first 3 years as keeper, but probably wasn't much good. So some of the boys will probably tell you that. But so after 3 years, I think it was, I just said I'd take over managing. Forget about the playing aspects of it. Letting in too many goals, I think.
Oh, I don't know. Well, you are clearly in safe hands then. No pun intended.
But
And John, then yourself, just a quick backstory on Cleary Celtic. Obviously, you've been in this position before in recent years.
Yeah.
So give us a backstory just on yourself, your connection with the club, and your footballing journey to date.
Well, no, my backstory with the club is it's from the area I live in Newry, Cleary is. So I suppose I've always been looking up or sort of half involved with them, although I probably wasn't good enough to play for them most of the time. Started playing with them in my early 20s, and then I quit when I was 37. But as I said in a text, I probably spent more of that time on the bench, to be honest. So
You're very harsh on yourselves, boys. Very harsh.
yeah, well, that's the truth.
So finished at 37, and you've been coaching since then. You've been a manager since then, or
No, I'd sort of stepped away from it all, and just I would have still went and watched them every Saturday and that, but wasn't really involved then until I helped 2019. I helped the fella Philly McCurry. I was his assistant. He was manager, and then his wife had twins. So after COVID, I was sort of shoehorned into it. Suppose nobody else wanted the responsibility.
and there's been success in them few years.
Yeah, we've a good love affair with the MidUlster Shield. We love it. That's our big one, as they say, like, you know. So
Is this the third in 5 years? Would it be right?
third in 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
And Conor, yourself, our own club, Oxford Sunnyside, locked horns with yourselves last year in the Marshall Cup. So, you know, these are no strangers to the big competitions.
Yeah, with a good run in that competition last year, but I suppose it was getting to the end of the year and injuries were piling up and all the rest of it, and we got that match probably just a bit under strength. I actually came on that day, I think, which isn't a good sign for us. So, yeah, we put in a good enough performance that day. It was 1-0, I think, after extra time. It was late enough in extra time as well.
Yeah.
with a couple of wee chances, I suppose, in the 90 as well to nick it, but it was probably backs against the wall for us that day, just the way it worked out with injuries and whatever else. So I tend to go deep in competitions, but sometimes just don't get over the line into the final, if you know what I mean. So first final in 7
Yeah.
years, so
Oh, very good.
we're looking
Very
forward
good.
to it.
Well, so you did. You showed a lot of quality, and you came to Knockgrammar Park, so it'll be interesting. As I say, you're coming up against Cleary Celtic, who have a bit more experience, but all in all, tell me this: when is the cup final date been confirmed?
It's next Monday, Easter Monday.
Next Monday. That's what I wanted
Yeah.
to double down on. Very good. So the build up starts now. Hopefully we can broadcast this and get a few followers behind you. Few neutrals have nothing else to do on a Monday. We'll go out and cheer you on. All right, I'll hand this over to Tats here. He'll sort of give us a run through just of the build up for both of you and how you have got to the final.
Okay.
So I'll start with you, John. What about any standout games? Because as I said at the very start there's some really impressive results for both your sides.
Yeah.
Is there any standout games that you would pinpoint where you're thinking, yeah, okay, this is maybe a sign that we're going to go far in the competition again and maybe successfully defend our shield?
In the second round, we played Refrain reserves, and with a man sent off in the first half, and it was backs against the wall stuff. So the boys done well and battled through that game. We won 3-2. It was a real hard game. I suppose when you see the boys' commitment and effort in that game, you're saying to yourself, we maybe have a chance again this year. And then we actually drew Colleen Athletic in the next round, which
Nice easy match.
they're a brilliant side. So we done well to beat them as well. I think maybe just on the day they fell short the last few minutes. 4-1 sort of flattered us, but the boys dug deep the whole game, so it was a great game. That was probably the two standout ones, to be honest.
Yeah, so as I said, some impressive wins, and obviously you're through to the final again. You said there was it always kind of the aim from the start of the season that do you see the MidUlster Shield as kind of, obviously everybody talks about the Junior Cup and everything else, which is another fantastic competition, but was the MidUlster Shield one of your kind of primary aims this season on top of obviously winning your own league?
The league's always primary, isn't it? And then if you get a run in them cups, you take them, and the MidUlster Shield's always something that we try and go deep in anyway, but you need that wee bit of luck to get far in these competitions, and I think we've had it this year so far. So
yeah, well, that's it. You'll be looking for a wee bit more luck then come the final, which is always important. And Connor, what about yourself? Again, some impressive results. Round 5, you beat a really strong Lurgan Celtic side who you'll probably be coming up against next season on a more regular basis. Any other standout matches for yourselves in the MidUlster Shield?
I suppose the first day we played Mindwell in the first round, or the second round I think it was. We got a bye in the first round, but that was, proved to be a good side. They're doing really well in Division 2 now as well, and beating intermediate sides in Marshall Cup and stuff. So probably at the time didn't realise how good they were, and we done really well that day to win. We're 2-0 up at half time, and then conceded one later on, but held out, reasonably comfortably. And then I suppose the rest of the ties, I suppose, were pretty much plain sailing really until the semi-final against Portadown, BBOB, and we were 3-1 up with 10 minutes to go, or roughly 10 minutes to go, and conceded 2 in 2 minutes, which probably thought we were home and about at that stage, 3-1, but we had to dig deep then in extra time to get it over the line. But to be fair, probably our fitness probably showed in extra time. I think we sort of dominated the whole 20 minutes, and I think the goal might have been maybe just with a minute or two to go. We really don't want to go to penalties in that situation, so it was good to get it over the line before that. But yeah, those probably the two standout ones.
And again, it's another strong side. Portadown BBOB is going well in Division 1. And I suppose if it would have went to penalties, you just bring yourself on, just get all the glory, don't you? Save a couple of penalties.
Definitely not. But yeah, Portadown, obviously they got Cleary beat them in the final last year, so they did. And the way things are going there in Division 1, be probably between them and Cool Island at the minute, you'd be thinking for the league. So, and the way obviously it worked out this year, there was no neutral venues in the semi-finals. It was home and away. I know Cleary were away as well against Guildford. We were away to Portadown, and it's a tough enough place to go down there. So to go there and get the win was pretty good. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about getting over the line, isn't it? And getting through to the final, and then hopefully doing the business. And John, you've been here, done that. You've obviously won the MidUlster Shield. You won the Quintuple, just the 5 trophies last year.
Just the 5, yeah.
You're very modest in your WhatsApp. So do you get nervous before cup finals, or do you just treat it? I know everybody says treat it like another game, but do you get a wee bit?
No, you have to treat it like a cup final. There's a good old buzz about when you're in a cup final, doesn't there? So probably wee bit of nerves, but no, not too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, it's certainly gotten the makings of a brilliant game. And Conor, how do you find then? As you said, there's been a couple of seasons that you've went deep in cup competitions, and I suppose this is open to both of you. But start with you, Conor. What do you find, as much as fantastic getting through the cup finals, do you find it a bit of a distraction when it comes to the league, which is your bread and butter? Do you think nearly because there's somebody put up something on Twitter, which I thought was a good point? Is there nearly too many cup competitions? Do you find,
Yeah, I definitely think there is now, to be honest. In our league especially, we've played, I think, 9 league games so far this season, like, and we're in April, so I think that says it all. If you go far in a few cup competitions, you're falling way behind. But I suppose from our point of view, specifically us, we'd probably look at the cup competitions as probably the more of the priority. Just the way things fall for us with a bit of a smaller squad. Injuries and holidays and stuff can interrupt you in the league, but if you can get everybody there for the big days and the cups, that's sort of probably more our aim, if you know what I mean. But definitely though, like, we're gonna have a fixture backlog at the end of the year here, which is going to be serious. Like, I just got a fixture there for next Wednesday, 2 days after the final, and that's just the way it's going to have to be for us for the rest of the year, because there's only so many weeks to fit the games in. So so any team that goes far, you only have to go far in 2 or 3 cups, and you're playing catch up in the league.
Yeah, because I remember even last year, well, Richie would be able to say that Oxford didn't finish their season until, was it June time, Richie? Was it sort of towards the
I
end
think
of June?
last
And then a week or two
game of
later,
the
they
season
start.
was the 2nd of June.
Uh,
They were back training within weeks.
I
It
was
went
going
Really?
to
really
say,
long. Even,
I think we played Sunnyside in the Marshall Cup. I think it was the 31st of May or something. That
it
game was
was just
played.
right.
It was right
Yeah,
at the end of May. Like, so.
yeah. The cup final was the start of June, and as I say, it was actually, believe it, I'll tell you how late it was. It was too late to have arranged a presentation night or an evening. Everything was tied up, kind of thing, and the season went so long you couldn't confirm a booking. So before we knew it, the boys were back to pre-season, and it's kind of just rolled on. And similar as you say now, it's the backlog's going to be massive. Even in Oxford's campaign to try and chase the league, they're 6 or 7 games behind the league leaders. Haven't played more games. So going along in the competition leads to this backlog.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know Cleary used to have a few games behind the team at the top.
Yeah, we're
very
right
few games in
behind.
hand.
I don't know how we're going to play all our games either, to be honest, but we have good depth in our squad, so hopefully that'll stand by us. We definitely have good depth in the squad now, so hopefully. But I would say we'd be playing 3 games a week.
Yeah.
It's going to be something similar for us, I'd say, towards the end.
Yeah.
It's a detrimental approach, really, too. The quality then suffers by nobody else's fault. Only if only they would supply a fixture list for the season and then work around it with the cup competitions. I think it would, as a manager, I'm sure you would agree, to be able to have that played out from the start of the season, your plan and preparation will be so much better.
I think, in fairness, from our perspective anyway, at the start of this year we had the council strikes in the in the ABC area, like, so
That's a valid point, yeah.
that killed us for a few weeks. Like, we just couldn't get a pitch book for a game, so that was probably a bit of an outlier this year, but even at that, 3 or 4 games, we're still we're still behind most teams. Like.
Yeah.
But sure, John, you probably welcome all the cups anyway after winning the quintuple last year. You just want all the trophies on your CV, don't you? You're just being greedy.
Yeah, something like that.
And what about the league campaign for yourself? You're obviously chasing after Villa Rovers. You've had a brilliant season, but there's still a long way to go. You have a bit of catch up to do. So you're pretty
Yeah,
confident you can kind of turn it around and
yeah,
pull it
no,
back.
listen, we've got a good squad to do it. Yeah, I'd be confident enough, but it's going to go right to the wire by the looks of things. I think they have 3 games left, maybe 4, and I think we might have 11 or 10 or something like that. So it's going to go right to the wire, and hopefully we can just win our games and just take one game at a time like we did last year and see where it takes us.
Happy days. So for both of you, it's been a really good season so far, and obviously you'll be looking to end it strongly. Connor, just want to ask you: does Thomas Marley, is he still playing for Sandy Hill? I believe he was. Had he a wee stint with you a season or two ago, or
Oh, he's still there. He's still there.
is he
He
still kicking ball for
He
you?
started. He still started. He started the semi final there. He's a great attitude. He's fit as a fiddle, and he gives you something there in the middle that maybe others don't like. So yeah, he's a real good lad, Thomas. So I'm sure he'll be glad to get a shout out there from you.
I know he's a great lad. I played with him in the reserves a few years ago when I was coming towards the end of my career. But as you said, great lad, great engine, and we've given John a wee slight edge then if he could potentially be starting for you and come next Monday. But great lad, lovely hair as well, lovely luscious hair. Unlike Richie, Richie's as bald as it could. But
He is a beautiful human being. In fairness, beautiful human being. In all aspects.
very good. Well, John, since we have given you a wee inkling of who could potentially be starting centre midfield for Sandy Hill, are you going to give us any tactical insight into Cleary Celtic, or are you just going to keep it close to your chest, are you?
I think I'll just keep quiet and not be willing.
No, happy days. Richie, do you have anything else you want to ask? I think there's time here to spin the old Wheel of Berba.
Just in the build-up, obviously your game's on a Monday evening, which is unusual for you, so I'm sure you are 2 nights a week with a game on a Saturday. Does your scheduling for training, anything else change for you on the build-up to the final?
It's Monday morning, so it's 11 o'clock Monday morning, so it is. But for us, not really, no. Just really sticking to the routine. Might just get together on Saturday just because we've no game, obviously, with the final on Monday. Yeah. So we may just get together on Saturday just for something late. But other than that, no, nothing different.
Same as after us, nothing different. We normally train the Tuesday and the Thursday, and we'll probably meet Saturday morning. I think Rangers are playing Celtic, so we'll have to train before that. There'll be nobody at the training.
And again, like Christmas time, no big dinners, no big lunches, no beers. You take that toll yourselves as the gaffers. Lead by example.
Definitely.
Sunday.
Yeah.
There'll be no drinking Sunday now. I'll have to keep that.
Leave it to Monday.
Leave it to Monday, yeah.
Brilliant. Happy days. Right, we'll get back to Tots.
We forgot to ask them about their favourite football team and hero. How's your fault, Richie?
Conversation goes.
So, Connor, who'd be when you were growing up, who did you support and who was your football hero? We usually start with that, but
I am a United fan, Man United, so
we'll just stop there then.
I seen one of them WhatsApp pictures had Jurgen Klopp in it or something, so I knew the one he was a Liverpool fan. But United wouldn't really have one in particular from United. Like I always remember Beckham scoring that goal against Wimbledon. Like I would have been very young then. That probably would have been one of the first goals I remember. The halfway line, and Roy Keane obviously as well would have been a big one. And then probably the Brazilian Ronaldo as well. Probably didn't see him. You only seen him at the World Cups or whatever, but he was sort of like a mythical figure, like, so he'd be up there as well.
So you'll be just on the 7 Up then on Monday. Is that what you'll be?
That's about all Liverpool having their trophy cabinet this year, anyway. So.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. John, what about you? Who's your football team growing up, and who was your hero?
Yeah, well, I'm actually United as well, so
We need to vet these guests, Richie.
There's going to be some editing done here, some editing when it's all over.
As heroes, as players go, I don't really know, but Ferguson would probably be. I always looked up to him, and he was. I just thought he was some manager, and he was ruthless the way he carried himself, and I always just look back on his reign as United boss. It was unbelievable times. Probably never be seen again. So.
Yeah, he probably was the greatest. What do you think, Richie? It pains me to say that,
Absolutely.
but like to go for, what was it, quarter of a decade? He was
I
managing
think
for
Ronnie
unbelievable.
McFalls was there a wee bit longer, but absolutely fantastic. Yeah, to do what he done and succeed for so long, that set the standard, 100%. On that note, guys,
Tough.
what about your own managerial styles? Where would you lean to? Where would you take any leanings from the greats? You have a style of your own. Who will you use first, John?
And not really, no. No, not really. I wouldn't. I just take one game at a time and try and get the boys to perform as they can, because the quality we have in our squads are. So I don't really have much to do, to be honest.
No such thing as a good manager, just a good team.
Yeah.
So to say.
Yeah.
Are you a hugger or are you a hairdryer? That's what
I'm a bit of a hugger, I think.
Not so bad. And what about yourself, Connor? Where do you draw your inspiration?
Okay, pretty much be the same as John there. It's just about getting everybody training, getting everybody to matches, and then our lads are pretty good themselves. That they know what they have to do, so you don't really need to encourage them too much. Like they're all motivated and keen enough. So just get them out there and let them at it, pretty much.
Oh, fantastic. I'll be keeping an eye out now for the results. Now where it's a bit more personal, and we get to make new football friends over the podcast. So best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Right, so we're going to finish off. We're going to spin the Wheel of Berba. It's a bit random. We have a wheel here. We have one. I'm just going to spin it. It's going to land on something, and you just give us either your opinion or you can't answer it. So I'm going to start with you, John. So I'm going to spin it here. Okay, it's landed on Rafa's fact. So we're looking you to give us one random fact about your good self that maybe most people don't know about. It could be a talent that you have, or something you achieved when you were younger, or somebody you met. Just a random fact. Put you on the spot there.
I haven't a clue. No random facts. Nothing's coming into my head at all. Sorry.
Is there? Apart from you won the quintuple, we'll put that down as your fact. It's a random fact. That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do.
Spin again. Give me another one.
Okay. Legends go dating. It's landed on John. Okay. So you and two legends, dead or alive, are heading out to a pub, and you're heading to the bank. That's the place I can think of there, right? You're heading to the bank. So you two legends, dead or alive. Who are the two legends? Why have you picked them? And also, what are you drinking? So two legends.
Well, I'm definitely taking Alex Ferguson.
Ah,
And
so
I'll probably go with George Best, because I'd probably manage to drink more than him, but I'd be drinking Guinness.
It's funny, a lot of people seem to pick George Best. He does. Yeah. I think because he'd usually have a Miss World hanging off him. So it's he could feed off the scraps. Okay, very good. And a Guinness, like a wee Guinness myself. Okay, Connor, I'm going to spin the wheel for your good self. It's landed on. Okay, or. This is actually the first time it's actually ever landed. I can't believe this, Richie. Or. I have to think actually what this one. Oh, yes. Or. Okay, so this is to do with your own football career. So or regret and relive. So it's not rest and relaxation. Regret and relive. Is there one moment that you can think of that maybe not necessarily you regret? So it could be in your playing career, managerial career, maybe something maybe you might have done differently. And relive. Is there maybe one moment you'd love to relive in your playing or managerial career? So a moment that you
Aye,
regret, a moment that you would love to relive once more.
I'll have to go both with my management career because my playing career didn't last too long. Probably both in the same year. We played Ballyorn in the MidUlster Shield semi-final 2016, and I'd like to well, I'd probably regret it and like to relive it to change a few things, but we're 1-0 up and got done with a quick free kick and then beating penalties. But I think that day probably could have made changes quicker to sort of help us over the line that day, and probably regretted that. But then relive was later on the same year. We played Silverwood in the Alexandra Cup final, which is the last final we were in actually, and we were 2-0 down with about 5 minutes left and came back and drew 2-2. Hit the bar. We still had time to hit the bar there as well to try and win it in normal time, and went extra time penalties. And the lottery that it is, we just got the better side of it that night. But I was going to say that was a night to remember, but it was probably about 4 days to remember, and I don't remember the half of it either. So that was probably the one to relive again. No problem at all.
You probably
There you
regret that
go.
as
You
well.
got
Did
the
you too many
better.
pints?
You got the better of the Lurgan man that day. Very good.
Yeah, too many pints. Jesus, it was unreal crack now for over the weekend. It was a Friday night game and a bank holiday Monday, so it just didn't stop.
But that's
Very
what it's
good.
all about. And you're very honest with your first one as well, because I'm sure that's just part and parcel of management. There's always things that maybe when you analyse, same when you're a player, you analyse your performance as a player or manager that you think I could have done things differently, but part and parcel of it. I'm sure John, Richie as well. Like Richie dropped me from the squad one game when I went to watch Liverpool play. I was only away 1 week and got dropped from the squad, and I'm sure he regrets that. In saying that, that match they did win, and the fella who replaced me scored an absolute peach. So maybe he doesn't, but
Can't be too
I
harsh
started
on
myself at left back that day. So
her. Very good.
brilliant. Guys, listen, we're finishing up here, coming to an end, but obviously behind every great team, you know, these are the managers. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody in particular just before the final? Anybody that you want to give a shout out to? This is what the podcast's all about. It's celebrating others and raising people up. So I'm sure you have a background team or backroom team that helps us out. You want to drop their names?
You want to go first there, John?
Yeah, no bother, thank you. Yeah, well, managerial team, well, I have a great setup behind me of strength and conditioning coach James McCurry, who's my brother-in-law. He's absolutely brilliant at what he does. I have a great kit man, and then I've two boys that help me there, Robert Quinn and Mickey McDonald. So that's our managerial team, and the boys are like myself. They work hard all year. Hopefully, you reap some rewards from it. So shout out to the boys, just.
Fantastic. And yourself, Connor?
Aye, so Jamie Graham there, who's our captain, and he takes a lot of the trainings and helps organise things. And when I'm away, he'd be the man in charge. So big shout out to him. And suppose really just from the start, because we did start this club up as a bunch of mates, like, and there's a lot of them are still playing, and most of them are still involved, like. So just a big shout out to everyone who's really been involved with us from the start, because it's it's been some crack, like, and it's probably kept us as a bunch of mates together and meet new people along the way when they sing, like, and some of them guys, would be good friends now that you wouldn't have met otherwise, like. So just a big shout out to everybody who's been involved with Sandy Hill, because it's, as I say, it's been some crack.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, football friends, friends for life. Me
That's
and
it.
Tots can vouch for that, so fantastic, fantastic. Any closing words there, Tots? Any closing thoughts?
No, just thanks again for coming on. It's just great to obviously showcase two brilliant football clubs. As I said earlier, everybody will be talking about the Junior Cup and the Intermediate Cup, but this is a big competition as well. So it's and spoke some of the sides that you've put out. You deserve to be exactly where you are come Monday. So I want to wish you both all the best, and hopefully the best team wins, and just give it your all. And no matter what, I suppose, no matter who's in the winning and losing side, there are going to be memories that you'll look back on in years to come. So all the best, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks very much, lads.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
boys.
absolutely. I echo that case. And whoever comes out on top, regardless, will catch up with us again before the end of the season and get a sign off on you. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
Brilliant,
Thank you.
brilliant. Thanks very much.
All right. Enjoy it, boys.
Will do.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Will do. Thanks very
All
much,
right,
lads.
all the best. Good luck.
Right, good
Bye.
luck.
Good luck.
Keepie Uppies with Ruchi and Tots.